Hello everybody, welcome into the HobbyBarr. This is Jason, welcome. Today we'll be continuing work on this guy, the 40k gene stealer called Clamavus. Working on building up more layers on him, so Season 2 of layering up some paints on this guy. And yeah, we'll try out some different things, get some stuff closer to completion. So, let's get zoomed on in here, and first, we're going to be working on his pants. So, for his pants, I wanted to take some of the Steel Legion Drab and mix it with some Yellowstone paint. So I'm mixing some Citadel base with Cuttlefish Colors paints. And just wanted to get a lighter hue on this. I figure going straight up to the Yellowstone will be very stark and very different. So wanted sort of a middle tone here, so we'll mix some of the two paints together, get sort of a middle tone. And then come in and clean it up a little bit on those pants of his. Tried to avoid the recesses, just because that's where I want the wash to be more pronounced. So come in here, get his pants lightened back up after the Agrax Earthshade. And yeah, we'll work on doing that with the guy. So go ahead, go around, brighten up his pants a bit. Even though sure he's been out in the field, give him some cleaner pants. Because he is, I believe, an elite choice now for the army. After all, so he won't be as dirty as the grunts, but he won't be as clean as the HQ. Anyway, we'll go ahead and brighten up his pants a bit here with this, and make sure we get both sides as much as we can see, and then we'll move on here to the next color in a bit. So I'll catch up with you all then. Alright, for the next color, we are moving on to Nightengale Purple. It's another Cuttlefish color paint from Cephalopod Studios. This one I wanted to use on the skin because it's sort of a palish pinkish color, so it highlights over the Majos Purple well. Let's just go ahead and use it though as a highlight color on the skin. Kind of brighten them back up for the highlights, bring them closer in line to the other two, instead of being a fairly dark purple pinkish. So, wanted to get that fixed up, and we'll go ahead and do that with him. And yeah, make sure we get both sides of his head for the headphones. Both sides of the headphones on his head, I should say. Get his hands, his forearms. Thankfully not a lot of skin on the guy, so this process doesn't take too long. Anyway, we'll go ahead and power through this Nightengale Purple and catch up with you all here in a little bit for the next color. Alright, we're coming in here with some Poor Boy Denim from Cephalopod Studios, part of their Cuttlefish Colors line. It's a nice blue, I would say probably a good mid-blue. It's similar to jeans, and figured I would use this to highlight the wrappings and some of the other blue parts on them. But I was looking at the color afterwards and realized, you know what? Maybe we can add some more tonality to this and whatnot, and figure change it from the blue-green of like Thousand Suns blue to just more like a normal blue. With this and a bit of the next color that we'll add in. But we'll go ahead and just try it with some Poor Boy Denim, just over the bandages on him mostly. And in a bit, I'll catch up with you for the next color. Alrighto, so now we're moving on to Lullaby Lavender from Cephalopod Studios, and part of their Cuttlefish color line. And this is a very deep blue, almost a blue-purple, similar to lavender, which you would expect. And I figured I would use this more as like a base coat on some of the buttons there on his control pad, and also to maybe shade some of the bandages, because I was looking at them like, Poor Boy Denim looks good on these, but what if we came back in and added a bit more shading underneath the Poor Boy Denim in the recesses? And so we'll go ahead and do that, and here in a bit we'll add in some medium and make it a little thinner. This way we can do that. So I'll catch up with you all here in a bit when we try some of this medium out in the Lullaby Lavender. Okay, here we are at banging a drop of Merlin's Magic Medium to the Lullaby Lavender, both of those being Cuttlefish Colors paints. What I wanted to do here ideally was basically make sort of a wash with it. Very thin glaze slash wash. This way I could have a very thin amount of the color come through, since I wanted to basically have it run into these speaker areas here. I wasn't super happy with how it looked, so I wanted to blue it up a bit more. Probably went a bit too dark, and we'll have to figure out something there, but went right in there and did exactly what I wanted, which was make those lines blue. Blew them up, and then we'll go into microphone in a few different areas with this mixture. And basically I wanted it to try to tint a lot of these blue-green areas to more of a dark blue tone, and then maybe try building back up from that with the siren green and stuff like that. But I don't quite do that. I kind of like the look of just having blue cabling for some of them instead of trying to make it blue-green and glowy and stuff, even though as cool as that would have been to have like a glowy cable going from the backpack into the speaker. Like, I don't think I actually want to do that, so we'll just leave it a blue cable, similar to the railings, or whatever you want to call it, the tubing going around his backpack. But yeah, we'll continue going around with this, around the mini, and here in a bit, I'll catch up with y'all for the next color. Alrighty, here we are with the next color called Sir Rulean by Cuttlefish Colors. It's a very nice blue, kind of strong blue to me. Wanted to put this in the goggles and in a few other areas to sort of have that bluish energy look. I probably should have thinned this down a bit as well, and then come in with another greener tone to make it look like it's glowing, but kind of happy with how it looks for now. But we'll go around here with this Sir Rulean color, and put it on some of the blue areas. And yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And I'll chip with here in a bit for the next color. Alright, for the next color, we're coming in with some Cephalopod Studios Ghoul Flesh. It's a fairly pale green, and I thought, you know, if this is the right consistency, I could probably just put it on as a highlight and just sort of layer it up on top of things, feather it a bit or something, and it'll just sort of look like it's there and glowing. But when I first started applying it, I was like, ooh, this is very different. I also wanted to use it as a highlight on the normal green, but it's a bit too white for that to me. So I was like, don't think I want to do this quite that way. So, plus there wasn't really much green, and here I am trying it on the cable, and kind of happy with it, but I thought, this might be a bit strong. So, after looking at it for a bit, I decided that maybe we should add a bit of blue back into it. So to add the blue back in, we're going to come in here and get some of the cerulean color that we were just using, and add that into the ghoul flesh a bit, make a small mixture of it. And this sort of color where it's a little bit of green, mostly blue, but also much more desaturated in the color, much more white in it. This is sort of what I was more looking for highlighting on the blue tubing for going, or blue cable coming from the backpack going into the speaker staff. So go ahead and get that done up, and then we'll move on to a red color. We're going in with Crawdaddy Red, also by Cephalopod Studios. And for this color, I wanted to come in and pick out some of the like arrows and start highlighting some of the red parts. So we'll go ahead and work our way around the mini, picking out some red details and highlight and making sure that it has a nice solid red color. I noticed the that on the palette, the Crawdaddy Red kind of looks very similar to the Vallejo Game Ink, the red Game Ink that I have. So it's also kind of good to notice. Very slight difference, but it's almost imperceptible. So that's a good thing to notice and take note of. But with that, we'll go around here. It's going to be a little bit of detail work and get all the red down on them. And I'll catch up with you here in a bit when we move on to a bit of highlighting some of that red. So catch up with you all on the next color. Alright, here we are coming in with some Cephalopod Studios Fall Harvest color. It's a orangish color. I have it set above the red. And figured, you know what, let's use some of this orange to highlight some of these red details we just painted in. And when I applied it over the cable back here that connects that top part to the bottom part of the backpack, decided, something doesn't look quite right. So I wanted to pull some of it off, get some of this red, mix some of the red in with the orange. This way I have sort of that middle tone again between the two. And that to me looks a lot better for a highlight color. So we'll come in here with some Crawdaddy Red mixed in with some Fall Harvest. And go around highlighting up some of these red parts that we just did. Before touching up some of the those still white primed areas and get those done up in leather. And I know I need to do the book and the basing, but I'm going to be closing out completion on this guy, and I think next time after this guy we're going to do a bit of building, change it up a bit. Anyway, we'll finish off with the red highlight here with the Fall Harvest and Crawdaddy Red. I'll catch up with you all here in a bit for the next color. Alrighty, here we are coming in with some Citadel Snakebite Leather. It's a contrast paint, and to me it's one of the better contrast paints. It's a really good leather color. I like to put it on in 2 thin coats, even though they say to put it on in one thick coat usually. But just putting it on in 2 relatively thin coats, thicker than a usual paint, thinner than like a wash, basically, or similar to a shade paint. But anyway, we go around here on both the pistol holster and the little trinket bag that he has on his waist, and we're going to color both of those leather. I know I need to pick out the handle of the pistol in the holster still, but I'm not quite sure how I want to pick that out. I'll probably just make it black handle for it. That'll keep it nice and simple. And I can use the Vallejo Game Inks for that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get these contrasted up for the holster and that little bag on his waist. And then we'll call it a day at that point. Yeah, Thankfully I didn't have any issues with battery recording because I was keeping an eye on that, but I kind of, because of that, I didn't do as much work, I feel. Plus, kind of getting towards the end of this guy, so basing will come soon and stuff, and we can wrap him up and move on to the next thing, which, again, probably will be a building thing, just to change it up a bit, do some assembly. Anyway, we'll wrap this up. I'll catch up with you all here in a bit for the last call. Alrighty, last call everybody. Last call. So for today's last call, just giving a spin on this guy. Again, worked on the pants on him, highlighted the skin a bit more, brought it up. Got the blue-green down to more of just a blue on most of them. Finished up the bag and the holster on them. So there aren't those white spots sticking out on them. But with that, I tried doing 4K recording on this for the spin, and hopefully it's not as out of focus since I have to zoom in a bit more to maintain focus. So hopefully it looks alright. Hopefully audio's alright. And closing in on completion of this guy, maybe another episode or two, and we can call him good to go. Join his brethren. But with that, hope you all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.